matter, selecting the name of Deputy Kevin Humphreys to ask the Minister for Transport, Tourism and Sport the need to intervene with the ESB to ensure that guided tours and current opening hours continue at the Georgian Museum number 29, Merrion Square, Dublin. And the Deputy has 4 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Minister, for taking this topical issue today on behalf of myself and Deputy Owen Murphy, whose area is in the centre of our consistency. First of all, I want to just point out, Minister, I've already raised this with the Minister of Communication, Pat Rabbitte, and I've also indicated to the ESB my concerns about the proposal. And just for your own knowledge, Minister, the number 29 Georgian Museum is located at the corner of Merrion Square and Fitzwilliam Street. It's currently ranked the 14th out of over 200 attractions in Dublin on TripAdvisor website. The museum at present has excellent opening hours, operating all year, and provides guided tours to tourists and citizens who want to see what a Georgian household was like in the 19th century for a small fee of €6. Visitors' numbers have rose by 10% in 2012 because of the interactive guided tour, not despite them. The building was first occupied by Mrs. Olivia Beattie, the widow of a prominent Dublin wine merchant. The visiting the house gives young and old alike a chance to experience what life is like for the fortunate who lived in such elegant townhouses and the less fortunate who worked in them. The ESB has used the building from 1928. As you know, the controversial demolition of the Georgian streetscape in Fitzwilliam Street for the ESB headquarters in 1960 was a major loss to our built heritage in Dublin. The ESB committed to restore number 29 in the 1980s as a condition of development of office blocks facing onto Beggar Street and James's Street East. The expedition is a partnership between the ESB and the National Museum of Ireland and has played an important role since 1991 in making accessible the history of the late Georgian Dublin. The ESB wants to downgrade the museum to seasonal opening hours without guides, which would destroy the unique attraction. And we currently have savings of just over 250,000. In the year of the gathering, we are seeking to improve our visitors. It would be disastrous to cut opening hours from 6 days, which is Tuesday to Sunday, 49 weeks a year, interactive guides offerings, to an unguided 5 days, 7 months, April to October, offering, and many feel it would lead to the eventual closure. For example, March is one of the busiest tourist days times and for St. Patrick's Day, and the museum would be closed next year when the parade, when thousands of tourists would be in town. The tour guides who would lose their jobs under the current proposals appreciates that the ESB must make savings and have already taken pay cuts of 5% in 2012. That is why they have made a cost-saving proposal to the ESB, but it has not been taken on board. I just got to finish. It would be embarrassing to lose such a tourist gem over such a small savings, and I would ask the Minister to work with the Department and the ESB to ensure that guided tours are kept and the opening hours are not lost. You know, many times, like, our climate doesn't encourage tourists. This is an all-weather historical tourist attraction that's been building its attraction year on year, and I think there's a cost-saving benefit put towards the guides that would nearly give the same savings. And when we're talking about the year of the gathering, we must treasure these gems and build on them. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Minister. Or thanks, Deputy. Minister Cannon, you have 4 minutes.
I'm taking this topical issue on behalf of my colleague Leo Varadkar, TD, the Minister for Transport, Tourism and Sport, and I wish to advise the House at the outset that the Minister for Transport, Tourism and Sport has no responsibility in this matter. Number 29 Fitzwilliam Street is a restored Georgian house which is run as a museum of Dublin home life for the period of 1790 to 1820. It is owned by the Electricity Supply Board and run by the ESB in association with the National Museum of Ireland. Issues relating to the opening hours of the venue in question or the provision of guided tours are commercial considerations for the ESB, and the Minister has no role in the matter. The ESB, as a commercial entity, must organise its resources in the manner it considers appropriate. It is hoped that the ESB can continue to make this important museum as accessible as possible to visitors and Dubliners alike. Dublin has a comprehensive range of tourism products, including state assets such as the various branches of the National Museum, the National Gallery, Dublin Castle and Kilmainham Jail, There are also the long-established visitor attractions such as the Book of Kells at Trinity College, Christchurch, the Chester Beatty Library in Malahide Castle, and in more recent times, Dublin has seen the growth of a range of new visitor attractions such as the Guinness Storehouse, the Dublinia Viking Centre. These attractions, old and new alike, draw hundreds of thousands of visitors every year. That is not to say that we are complacent about the tourism product of Dublin. The Government, through Fáilte Ireland, has continued to invest in the improvement of Dublin's visitor attractions, and last year a redeveloped Malahide Castle was opened. Approval has also been given for an investment to enhance the presentation of the Book of Kells at Trinity College. And to ensure that visitors really can get the maximum value from Dublin's tourism assets, a special walking trail is currently being developed through some of the top cultural and heritage sites of the city centre, running across the city from College Green to Kilmainham, and to be called the Dub Line. It will give tourists greater accessibility to Dublin past and present. Dublin's location is also a natural advantage, which is now being fully utilised as a tourism asset. As a coastal destination on the edge of the countryside, Dublin can be a city where visitors can engage in city-type activities, such as museums and shopping, but can also avail of an exciting array of water activities and outdoor pursuits in close proximity to the city. We want to utilise Dublin's natural attractions, and will be doing so by marketing the city as Dublin Plus, a city that's both urban and rural, and that's for both night and day. The role of technology is now of major importance in bringing a city to life for the modern visitor, and last month a new app was launched as part of the Discover Ireland campaign to further enhance the experience of those who come to Dublin. The new app utilises the latest in GPS and camera technology to allow tourists to become their own guide as they navigate the city's attractions. In a further enhancement to the technology assets available to tourists, free Wi-Fi connections are provided at our main tourist offices. All of the larger Dublin hotels are also hosting a significant amount of North American business, with some hotels observing particularly strong levels of US visitors. There was across all hotels a good strong mix of increased domestic, Northern and UK visitors also. Many of the most popular hotels were at 100% occupancy, an increase of their 2012 performance, which was considered excellent at the time. The figures in tourism in general indicate the strength of the Dublin tourism product and reflect the quality of the support being provided by the Government to the tourism sector in the capital, and we look forward with great anticipation to a strong overall performance for tourism in Dublin for 2013, based on the quality and the range of Dublin's visitor attractions and the continuing success of the Gathering Ireland initiative.
Deputy Humphreys, you have 2 minutes for a supplementary.
Well, can I say, Minister, the first response to that? I'm actually very disappointed with the response. For starters, DSB is a semi-state company, and that has all the signs of a typical civil service answer. And I don't mean any personal criticism, because I'd imagine you'd just seen the response before you walked into the chamber. The best value we have and the biggest tourist attraction we have in this country is our people. And to downgrade this Georgian Museum, North 29, to an interactive would actually lose the meaning. To be able to have that interactive with a person, to tell them the history of the house, to tell them who lived in what room, and to have that discussion, whether it's in English or Irish or French. And these are very skilled tour guides that take real personal pride in the work they do. And they also acknowledge the great work that the ESB done. These people are not looking after themselves. What they want to see developed is a quality product that will attract more tourists to this city and to this country. And I'm personally disappointed in the quality of the response. I think what we've seen was a standard response with very little research or very little feeling of understanding what tourism is about. And as I said, these tour guides are quite prepared to make further sacrifices to make sure the financial viability of this Georgian Museum. And Dublin is famous for its Georgian buildings. Not to have a building where it can be explained how people and families really lived in those houses, and where people also served in not too good circumstances. Minister, I would ask you to go back and talk to the Minister. I believe a workable solution can be found. I believe the staff are more than willing and able to engage. I believe this is a unique product that interprets Georgian living conditions of the time. It's a product that must be protected and developed, not just for the staff that are there, but for the tourism brand and for the number of tourists that can be attracted to this city. Thank you, Lescan Coram.
There's 2 minutes remaining, Minister.
I appreciate the concerns expressed by the Deputy, and they're valid concerns, certainly. As I pointed out in the response, the number 29 Fitzwilliam Street is owned by the ESB, an independent commercial entity, and it must organise its resources in the manner it considers appropriate. However, I will certainly share the Deputy's concern with both Ministers Varadkar and Rabbitte in an effort perhaps to resolve the situation and respond to him as soon as we have further news on the matter. Thank you.